I have survived what I now understand was one of the unhealthiest diets a human being could possibly live on. And the truth is, it almost killed me. And when I say this is a confession, I mean that literally. Because for years I didn't just eat badly. I lived inside a food environment that was engineered to destroy my metabolism, my brain chemistry, my hormones, and eventually my health. And the scariest part is that I didn't even know it was happening while it was happening. Because when you're inside it, when it's normal to you, you don't see the danger until the damage is already done. And I'll start at the beginning because context matters here. I grew up consuming massive amounts of sugar without a second thought. I'm talking about eating 12 donuts in one sitting, and not even having the slightest awareness that blood sugar was a thing. I didn't know what insulin was. I didn't know what a glucose spike was. I didn't know that what I was doing was quietly training my body to malfunction. And back then, it didn't seem abnormal at all. Because everyone around me was eating the same way. Sugar was normal. Starch was normal. Seed oils were normal. Sweetened cereals every single morning were normal. Halloween meant eating every piece of candy I collected in one night. Not over a week, not over a month, but that night. And nobody stopped me, nobody warned me, nobody even questioned it. Soda wasn't an occasional treat. It was a staple. I could drink an entire case without thinking twice. Fast food was routine. Processed meats, refined carbs, deep-fried everything cooked in seed oils. TV dinners, boxed foods, frozen meals. And then on top of that, after dinner every single night, I didn't stop eating. I grazed. I would eat continuously from the moment dinner ended until the moment I went to bed. And it wasn't hunger, but I didn't know that at the time. It just felt like something I did, like brushing my teeth or watching TV. It was just part of life. Then when I was 16, I got a job at a movie theater. And if you've ever worked at a movie theater, you know what that means. Unlimited popcorn. And not the small bags either. I was the popcorn maker. I would come home with literal garbage bags full of popcorn. And my dad and I would sit there night after night watching television, shoveling popcorn into our mouths, grazing endlessly. Salt, oil, refined carbs, dopamine hit after dopamine hit. And again, it didn't feel dangerous. It felt comforting. It felt normal. Then I joined the military, and you'd think that would clean things up, but it didn't. It just added stress, sleep deprivation, more refined food, more junk, more cafeteria carbs, more sugar, more seed oils. Then came college, which piled even more stress on top. Lots of coffee, lots of late nights, lots of convenience food, deep-fried carbs, processed snacks. Whatever was fast and available. That was what I ate. And by this point, my body was already changing. But I still didn't understand what the signals meant. Then came the ulcers, liver problems, gallbladder problems. Though I didn't know that's what they were at the time. All I knew was that I had this constant, full, tight, painful pressure under my right rib cage that radiated into my right shoulder. I had no idea that was my liver screaming for help. I didn't know that years of Doritos, soda, sugar, and seed oils were accumulating damage in an organ that is supposed to detoxify your body, and instead of changing, I made deals with myself. I told myself I'd eat healthy later, after graduation, after this phase, after that milestone, and after I graduated, instead of fixing anything, I rewarded myself with a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream every single night before bed. Every night. And then I started getting restless leg syndrome, this intense nervous energy in my body that made it impossible to relax. And I had no idea that it was a severe vitamin B1 deficiency, driven by high carbohydrate intake and poor nutrient absorption. I just thought something was wrong with me. I became jittery, anxious, wired, but tired. Then came insomnia. My eyelids burned. It felt like sandpaper. They were sticky and dry. And that wasn't random either. That was severe blood sugar dysregulation. But again, I didn't know. Then arthritis crept into my spine and fingers. Kidney stones showed up. Pain became normal. Inflammation became normal. Fatigue became normal. And you'd think that with all of that I would change immediately. But addiction doesn't work that way. I tried, I failed. I tried again. I failed again. Because the food I was eating wasn't actually satisfying me. And that's where the real problem reveals itself. It wasn't hunger, it was dopamine hunger. And this is the part that almost nobody understands. Dopamine is not a pleasure chemical. It's a drive and anticipation chemical. It's what makes you want something, chase something, seek something. And refined carbs and sugar are incredibly powerful at stimulating dopamine spikes over and over again, so your brain learns that these foods are important, urgent, necessary. But here's the trap. The more dopamine you stimulate, the less pleasure you actually feel, and the brain responds by demanding more dopamine, which means more junk food, more sugar, more refined carbs. Over time, the dopamine receptors downregulate. They literally get pulled into the cell. So now you have fewer receptors, which means you need even more stimulation just to feel normal. And this is the same mechanism behind drug addiction, alcohol addiction, gambling addiction, and yes, junk food addiction. Ultra-processed foods are designed to hijack this system. They taste amazing for a short period of time. They give you that initial hit, but within an hour or so you're hungry again. Not because you need calories, not because you need nutrients, but because dopamine is demanding another hit. And when you try to go back to real food, vegetables, protein, whole foods, they don't light up the brain the same way. So your brain says, no, that's not it. Give me the thing. And this feedback loop trains you to crave the very foods that are destroying you. And once I finally understood that, everything changed. Because then I could see the real enemy. And the real enemy is not a lack of willpower. It's your environment. Our modern food system is engineered for addiction, engineered to exploit stress, fatigue, blood sugar instability. And if you are tired, stressed, or hungry, you will not win with willpower. You won't. It's like putting an alcoholic behind the counter of a liquor store and telling them to just try harder. Eventually they will drink. Walk into any grocery store and you'll see it. Aisles and aisles of refined carbs, sugar, seed oils, snacks designed to be eaten mindlessly. And when I started going into people's homes to help them, I saw the same thing over and over again. Refrigerators and pantries filled with junk, and then these same people being told by so-called experts that they just need more discipline, eat everything in moderation, count calories, practice portion control, yet the failure rate is staggering. Weight Watchers fails about 95% of the time because motivation cannot overcome an addictive environment. The solution is removal. You have to change the environment so the triggers are gone. So there is only one option left: real food. And that starts with clearing every ultra-processed food out of your house, refrigerator and pantry. That food is not neutral. It is actively making you sick. And keeping it around is not a strategy, it's sabotage. Ultra-processed foods are built from the same core ingredients: seed oils, industrial starches, sugars. And what's missing is protein and real nutrition. Protein stabilizes blood sugar. Vegetables provide volume and nutrients without dopamine hijacking. The second rule is no snacking, because every time you eat, you spike insulin, and grazing keeps insulin elevated all day. Night grazing is the worst. After dinner, the kitchen is closed, lights off, period. The third rule is no food visible. Visual cues trigger dopamine before you even eat. Keep food out of sight. The fourth rule is substitution. There are healthier versions of the foods people crave, and they can help transition you away from addiction. The fifth rule is eliminating blue light at night. Screens destroy sleep. Poor sleep destroys blood sugar control, and poor blood sugar control drives cravings. The sixth rule is grocery store strategy. Never shop hungry. Always use a list. Stay on the perimeter. The center aisles are traps. Checkout lines are traps. The seventh rule is protecting sleep at all costs. Sleep stabilizes hormones, reduces cravings, and repairs the brain. The eighth rule is managing social environments. Bring your own food. Host events yourself when possible. Don't surrender control blindly. And once you master the environment, then and only then can you rebuild your health. Because the moment I escaped the trap, everything changed. My weight normalized, my cravings disappeared, my mind cleared, my energy returned. And I realized that this wasn't about being weak. It was about being human in a system designed to exploit biology. And once you understand that, you can finally stop blaming yourself and start fixing the real problem.